Hi, I'm Josh, and this is the Viewsonic XG2760. I grew up in the golden age of PC gaming, playing games like Quake 3, Unreal, and Counter-Strike. Not CSGO, not Source, Counter-Strike. I played all these games on a CRT, a huge, heavy, mythical device that shot pixels at you at the speed of light. No upscaling blur, no input lag, just beautiful picture as fast as your PC could draw it. When fast refresh rate LCDs popped up, I gave them a shot, but I was not impressed with the terrible image quality. So when IPS panels that also boosted a fast refresh rate came out, I knew it was time to call up Broadcast and ask them to send me one so I could try it out. Well, the XG2760 is not an IPS panel, and it shows it. It has terrible color shift, objectively, and it has awful color rendition subjectively. The contrast is super weak, and the manufacturer, I swear, tries to spin this as a feature by bumping it down even further and calling it black stabilization, so you can see your enemies in the shadows. Viewing angle, color accuracy, and contrast, while important, might not be the most important things to you, especially if you're looking at a gaming panel. The standout feature of this display is the NVIDIA G-Sync, and a blazing fast 165 Hz refresh rate, not to mention a 1 millisecond response time. Touching on G-Sync briefly, the last time that I used G-Sync was actually the first time it debuted. Back then you need to buy a special monitor and then a special chip which you had to disassemble the monitor to install. But boy howdy, I remember thinking that this was one of the biggest advancements in gaming. I hate screen tearing, and I'm very sensitive to it. G-Sync really made a huge difference in eliminating that screen tear, and I remember seeing it and going just being in awe. Next up is the refresh rate. The top-end native refresh rate is 145 Hz, but the panel can be overclocked by going into the menus and selecting 165 Hz. Of course, you'll need to use a DP cable, but Viewsonic does include one with this monitor. Once you've selected the overclocking mode, the panel will pop up a warning telling you that the panel may overheat. It didn't in my experience. And then it will reset. Once it powers back up, you can go into Windows, select your brand new fancy fast refresh rate of 165 Hz, and enable G-Sync in the drivers. Quick note that the drivers should enable G-Sync automatically, but I did have an issue where I need to manually enable them and then restart in order to get G-Sync working properly. I was kind of wondering why I was playing Overwatch and getting crazy screen tearing until I did this. So what about gaming on 165 Hz versus 60 Hz? I don't know. I can tell you it doesn't matter at all for me for anything other than FPS. If you play RPG or strategy games like I primarily do, it's not worth it. I don't care what the marketing tells you, it's not going to do anything for you. Yeah, your cursor isn't going to have as much blur. So what? Now for FPS, I can see it being a major improvement. It didn't help my skills any, but the pros do swear by it, so I'd go with their opinions. I wish I was 20 years old again and had my old Trentron next to this monitor, but I'm not, and I don't, and probably somebody else has already done this and made a YouTube video about it, so. The build quality it's fine, it's nothing outstanding, it's not going to break on you, it does feel somewhat solid. The stand is actually quite nice though, it supports the way the monitor nicely, and the monitor doesn't shake around when you're gaming if you're on a stable table. I also really like the adjust feature, which is nice and smooth, and the tilt is also similarly very good. What I really appreciate as far as extras are the 4 USB 3.0 ports, especially the 2 on the side. If you've never had a monitor with 2 USB ports on the side, it's great. Just be warned, the monitor will interfere with any RF coming off of wireless devices like dongles for your mouse or keyboard if you plug it into it, but you're a sweaty pro gamer, you're not going to be using a wireless mouse or keyboard anyway. So after my time using this monitor, I definitely would not give up my ProArt IPS panels to switch to this. But I have friends and family who do appreciate good high image quality, but still use these fast refresh rate panels, my brother included, and he's one of the top PUBG players in the world. This panel has fantastic features for the price. It truly does, and I think that is what's going to be the selling point for you if you are an FPS gamer. So if you're looking for a stupid fast refresh rate, G-Sync, and a really low latency, then maybe check out the XG2760. And be sure to compare it to other monitors by watching reviews like this one, right here on Roadcast.